What is up, everyone? This is 7 Octoberz here with another lyrical breakdown part 2 of my EP From Xibalba to Aztlan that just dropped November 20th. So today I'll be breaking down track number 2, which is Savage Bloodline, also known as Chicana Part 2. So like I mentioned on the first video, the intro track is called Chicana Part 1. So I always knew that I wanted to make multiple parts to that poem, kind of like Kendrick Lamar and other people where they have like multiple parts to like rap songs. I knew that I wanted this to be kind of like a series. So Savage Bloodline was actually meant to be Chicana Part 2. So it started out as a poem as well. And then it kind of morphed into a song because I knew I wanted it to be a song. I actually had written like 3 verses and the hook. But Kill C. Ray was like, you know what? Let's clean it up a bit. Shorten it, and then maybe add like a bridge because I hadn't done that in any of the tracks. So I was like, okay. So fun fact real quick before I get into the track, I actually recorded all my tracks at Kill C. Ray's house in his studio, and it was in Barrio Logan. So it's kind of crazy how that happened. So it kind of goes even with the whole concept of the EP, which is again my Chicano and Mexican culture. And as we know, Barrio Logan is very rich in history, and Chicano Park is there. So I thought that was a cool fact to tell you guys. The only track that I didn't record there was Jaguar Warrior. I actually recorded that at Dustin Diggins' studio. So shout out to him, dope producer. I recorded my vocals there, and then Kill C. Ray like mixed it and mastered it and all that. But just wanted to let you guys know that. So okay, so let's get back to Savage Bloodline. So again, I'll play the track. What I'll do is I'll play verse 1 because it's pretty short, and then I'll kind of go over the lyrics. Then I'll do the hook. Then I'll do verse 2 and then the bridge, and go from there. So let's play Savage Bloodline.
With mixed blood to a world I can't trust, enslaved and betrayed, my people slayed and maimed, full of history and pain, mestizo impure blood in my DNA, ancestors run through my veins, PTSD got me going insane, conquistadores came from Spain, try to conquer us and give us new names, destroyed our empire in a matter of days, we went from warriors to slaves, not allowed to worship our gods and idols, told to believe on God, the Bible, and his disciples, killed our rivals for survival, that's what I call dead on arrival. It's called the vicious cycle. Colonizers acting homicidal.
All right, so first verse, I'll kind of break down a few lines. So, born with mixed blood to a world I can't trust, enslaved and betrayed, my people slayed and maimed, full of history and pain, mestizo impure blood in my DNA. So, born with mixed blood goes with that mestizo line. Again, when the Spaniards came and conquered us, we kind of mixed Indian blood with like with the Spaniards, Spanish people. So we call that mestizo, and that's like part of like my history right there. And then to a world I can't trust, enslaved and betrayed. So we know the history, or those who know the history of like the Aztecs downfall and all that. Hernan Cortez kind of tricked them, and he took advantage of them because they thought he was like some sort of god that was there to kind of save them, and he took advantage of that, and pretty much ended up conquering them. So again, full of history and pain, enslaved and betrayed, slayed and maimed, so they killed a lot of our people and stuff like that. And then our next lines is ancestors run through my veins, PTSD got me going insane. So this first verse, I kind of wrote it from like the point of view of an Aztec. So PTSD, like, you know, they've been betrayed, all this stuff, they don't trust anyone. Conquistadores came from Spain, tried to conquer us and give us new names. So as we know, like a lot of the names changed after they conquered us, not as indigenous anymore. They destroyed their empire in a matter of days. They went from warriors to slaves. So they were these godlike people, very, very intelligent, I believe I read a book and they had like one of the best like irrigation systems, math, science, all of that. So they went from becoming something like so um, not godly, but at the top of the food chain, like a warrior, and then they became slaves to these Spaniards, colonizers, and then they weren't allowed to worship their gods or idols, told to believe in God, the Bible, and his disciples. So, Catholicism, Christianity became the new religion for them. As we know, like a lot of the Aztecs, Mayans, and all that, they worshiped several gods and idols, and they were told to now they had to believe in one God, the Bible, and his disciples, which again, I grew up in a Catholic household. We weren't like super strict or anything like that. My grandma would go to church like every Sunday. So as I grew older, I kind of did my own research, and I just didn't agree with a lot of the things on it, like the whole Adam and Eve, how they blame the woman. It's a lot of like sexism and all this like stuff, ambiguity with it. So I no longer really believe in that. I grew up in like believing in a God, but I was like, now I kind of believe in myself. I believe we are gods, like I said, of our destiny. That's why I wrote that first EP. And like more of like the universe and all that and cosmic forces. So, and then killed our rivals for survival. That's what I called it on arrival. So again, there was a battle, between the Spaniards and the indigenous people. It's called a vicious cycle. As we know, we're still going on. Similar things, not as the same, but similar. Colonizers acting homicidal. So again, they killed and pretty much extinct a lot of the indigenous people. And then I'll go into the hook here.
Chicana and proud, my face to the clouds, la morenita with the sound, come from the soil, born underground, watch me go from nothing all the way to the crown. Chicana and proud, my face to the clouds, la morenita with the sound, come from the soil, born underground, watch me go from nothing all the way to the crown.
So again, the hook goes Chicana and proud, my face to the clouds, la morenita with the sound, come from the soil, born underground, watch me go from nothing all the way to the crown. So that hook or chorus morphed into that. That wasn't even the hook. It mentioned Savage Bloodline. That's why I wanted it to be called that. But Kelsey said we can make it a little bit cleaner and stuff like that, so I rewrote the whole thing, and I still kept the Savage Bloodline because I feel like that pretty much describes what the story is about. Like we come from something so painful and bloody, a lot of bloody history and stuff like that. So I wanted to say like we come from a savage bloodline. But Chicana and proud, obviously straightforward, my face to the clouds, la morenita with the sound. So growing up, they always call me like morenita. I mean, it's like a brown girl. It's kind of like a term of endearment. So I put la morenita. I actually said la morenita with the crown, but Kelsey was like, let's do with the sound. And I'm like, okay. So I switched that up, and then I come from the soil, born underground. I came up with that line because I was like, I feel like we're indigenous to this land. We come pretty much from the soil, and the soil is underground. So that's how that line came about. And watch me go from nothing all the way to the crown. Can't take credit for that one. Kelsey actually gave me that line. I was like, okay, I like that. That sounds dope. So that's how the hook came about. Let's go into verse 2 here. So let's go.
Colonization of natives, pyramids faded, our traditions remain sacred, we assimilated, years passed, we kept the hatred, Mexico became the name of our domain, we tried to expand, it didn't take, Aztlan will be our end goal, we lost it all, time healed our wounds, but not our souls, tried to gain control, tough times came, so we had to migrate, the Bracero program came like it was fate, visas overstayed, dreams start to fade, and hope gets deported out the states till this day, we used the worst against them, we had to elevate, Chicanas adapt to change, meaning we are great. Chicana and proud, my face to the clouds, la morenita with the sound, come from the soil, born underground, watch me go from nothing all the way to the crown. Chicana and proud, my face to the clouds, la morenita with the sound, come from the soil, born underground, watch me go from nothing all the way to the crown.
Yeah, so that was the second verse. So again, colonization of natives, again, straightforward. Pyramids faded. Like I said, like the empire is no longer there. our traditions remain sacred. They still kept them, but they had to assimilate. Years passed, but we kept the hatred. Mexico became the name of our domain. We tried to expand. It didn't take. Aztlan, I mentioned it right there, would be our end goal, but we lost it all. So time healed our wounds, but not our souls. Try to gain control. Again, second verse is still in the perspective and point of view of an Aztec. Time healed our wounds and not our souls. Try to gain control. Tough times came. And then I kind of merge like the more recent history, which is, like I mentioned, the Bracero program, where they brought a lot of Mexican field workers to the United States with like visas and stuff like that for them to be able to work. And then I put visas overstayed, dreams start to fade. So a lot of people stayed actually here after the visas expired. My grandpa came here because of the Bracero program. He actually got his papers fixed and everything like that. But some people actually overstayed him and didn't, they just stayed here illegally to keep working, and raise their family because they believed in the American dream. So I put dreams start to fade. And Hope gets deported out the States till this day. Kill C. Ray again gave me that dope line. I could really relate to that line because, like I said, as we know, we're facing a time where still people are being deported back. Not even just Mexican people, but like Hondurans, Guatemalans, like all that. Because a lot of people assume it's just Mexicans, but it's more than that. Like we get refugees from all over the countries. So again, people being deported, separated from their families, caged, and all that stuff. So I put Hope gets deported out of the States till this day. And some people, all they know is here is America, and they're trying to send them back to where their family was from, but they have no knowledge of that culture. So it's really sad. So that's like a really dope line that really like hits home. And then we used their words against them. We had to elevate. Chicanos adapt to change, meaning we are great again. Chicana again, meaning that we made something really ugly and created something really beautiful and like a movement, like the Chicano movement. And then the bridge, I wrote this. I think the last line, "You'll never hold me down." Kill C came up with that, but the bridge, I wrote the rest. Really loved that bridge. I put, I run the town. My skin always shines brown. I was lost, but now I'm found. You'll never hold me down. So that's like a really powerful lyrics right there for me, because like I said, growing up I didn't really have this. Now we have like Stuff the Product, the Wonder, Reverie, all these like Mexican women, but I never had that when I was growing up, like representation. I was listening to like Tupac and Biggie. I couldn't relate to like their street, poetry, or like what they were going through, because it's not something I experienced, but I still obviously loved the music. So I wish somebody had said that, like, my skin always shines brown. Like, it's really like a positive, empowering to be proud of your culture and who you are. So I really wanted to put that there. And I was lost but now I'm found, because I wasn't like this before. Obviously I had self-esteem issues and all this stuff, but I grew into who I became now, and I'm really proud of who I am, where I come from, where my family comes from. So I really wanted to put that in that line. And yeah, that's pretty much like the whole concept of this track. I hope you guys dug it. I really love the instrumental to this. The beat is fucking dope. Shout out to I Above who did this. He killed it. As soon as I heard it, he sent me a few beats, and I was like, yeah, this is the one. So shout out to him. Yeah, hope you guys dig it. Listen to the whole EP. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, DM me what you guys thought about this track. Peace.